Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to the USA versus Europe, a guide to the cultural differences. Now, I've done one or two videos similar to this over the years, but it's always great to see someone else's take on this because there are so many cultural differences and different people are going to think of different ones. And you know, as someone who would like to spend an extended period of time in the US next year, maybe like 3-4 months, like I wouldn't want to be just caught unawares. Like I'd love to kind of have as much info as possible before I make my trip. And yeah, it's going to be cool. Let's do it.
Hey there, we are guides from Prague, Czech Republic, and this is one of our favorite pubs. But somebody just recently left a nasty review complaining about the fact that the waiter simply asked them, "You want a beer?" The waiter brought the beer, and then once the person was finished, they brought another beer. And this guy was complaining about it. What is he talking about? That's the best thing. Once you're finished with your beer, they bring another one. So for me, from the perspective of a Czech European, that's a good sign. For an American, that may be kind of weird or rude. So today we want to talk about cultural differences between our country, our city, and United States of America. First of all, you may be surprised what the beer looks like.
That is a large head. I mean, I'm not sure, like in England, especially in London, where that beer, a pint probably costs you £8, which is expensive to me. I don't know if I'd take that. That's too big a head.
Well, we have a video dedicated only to that. And second, when I walked in, I didn't look at a beer menu or something that may be quite common in the United States where you have different beers on tap. Most pubs and restaurants in Czech Republic will have one brewery on tap in the pub. So that's why you can walk in and just say, "I'll have one."
Gotcha.
So I kind of like that. You walk into a pub and you don't have a million choices, you just say one. In US, not only you have a choice of beers that are on tap, quite often there's 5, 10, 20, but also they will ask you, do you want draft or bottle? What kind of question is that? The reason you go to a pub is to get beer on tap, to get draft beer.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
If you want bottled beer, you go to a supermarket.
To be fair, I do prefer the US system, like because it's similar to what we have here. Usually about 10 beers on tap, but I do agree. Like if you're going to drink out of the bottle, why pay 100% markup? Because a supermarket, you're going to get like maybe 5 beers for let's say £6. That one bottle in a pub is probably going to cost you about £5. So always on tap in a pub for sure.
So for us, that's a big cultural difference that quite often we don't understand. Now, a beer here costs 55 crowns. Let's call that $2.50 to round it up. If you go to a stadium, to a sports event here in Prague, it's going to cost around $3. Well, nothing like that in US. If you go to a pub, it may cost $5, $6. And you go to a stadium, and it can cost $10, $15, even $20.
Whoa.
Honza hates.
Is he bullshitting? $20 for a beer at a game? $20? No way.
Whenever he goes to a sports event, he's always shocked with the price of the beer.
$20?
I myself, when I travel to US, I usually don't go to sports events, but I like amusement parks. And just recently, I visited Universal Studios. It was the most expensive beer I ever had in my life.
How much?
$15. I could not believe it. Now, I understand that going to amusement parks, you don't go there for beer, you go there for the rides, but still $15?
$15. Especially with the exchange rate right now, it's pretty much 1-to-1. So that's like £15 for one beer. Oh my God.
Same.
Woo!
Why did I do that? Also, fun fact, I did not take a picture of the beer, but I did take a picture of the receipt.
Plus
now, the price
taxes.
of the beer, as I said at the amusement park, was $15. But I was asked to pay more than $16.
Oh my
Why?
God.
It said $15. Well, tax was not included.
Yeah.
What is this about? We go to a place, and I'm not only talking restaurants, but any store, shop, and the price tag is the final price you pay. It says 55 here, it's gonna cost 55. They include the tax. Why don't you do that in US? It's just...
I've asked this question so many times.
Sad. I mean, imagine me, I'm 11 years old, I have my first dollar ever, and I walk into a dollar store, looking forward to buy something for $1. I pick up the item, go to the register, $1.50. What? It's a dollar store. Everything costs $1, not dollar store plus tax. Now let's switch from drinks to food. In any place, you can get some food, right? Mostly you pick something from the menu and no further questions will be asked.
What is that?
Well, in the US, quite often they will ask you how you want to customize. Do you want bacon? Do you want that cheese? Do you want this cheese? Do you want this or that and that? It gets quite confusing for us. And you can imagine me being 11 years old in US, in New Jersey, first walking to a restaurant, ordering a burger, very much looking forward to it. And they asked me, how do you want your burger done? I said, I don't know, very well done, thinking that they would make it completely. Yeah, you can imagine what happened. They brought this black piece of meat that was unedible. And all my friends had a laugh about it. Now, to be fair,
I don't know. I think, again, I like the fact that you can, personalize your food, especially if you've gone to somewhere decent where you're not going to be paying a small bill at the end of the night, Absolutely, you should be able to ask for a medium burger or a semi-well done steak.
or if you go to a restaurant in Prague nowadays and you will have a burger, they will ask you how you want it done. But once again, the fact that you can customize anything at a restaurant in US is very uncommon for us here. So if you come to a pub or a restaurant in Czech Republic, don't expect that you can customize every single item on the menu. That's why there's a menu with things that you pick from.
Yeah, to be fair, you can't, if you go to a pub in the UK, you usually can't customize anything aside from the steaks. Like literally the steak will be the only thing you can customize.
I really hope we didn't lose our subscribers from the United States. We love you guys. So to say something that we consider to be amazing in US that we don't have here is water. Free water at a restaurant, at a bar, anywhere.
What? You can't get
sit
free
down at
water
a
in Czech
table,
Republic?
and in US, you get a glass of water. Never happens in the Czech Republic ever. Not only that, if
Not
you
even
ask
tap
for
water.
tap water, quite often they will say, no, we don't serve tap water. And you will
What?
get a tiny little bottle of water that you will pay for $2, $3, $4. It's ridiculous.
That makes no sense. So the beer is super cheap, but you have to pay over the odds for water?
I know a restaurant where I go to, and I will always say, can I get tap water? And they're like, no, we can't do that. We can only sell you a bottle. And I quite often say, I'll
Why,
pay
though?
the same price that I'll pay for the bottle for tap water. Like, no, we can't do that. Crazy.
That's weird.
Why did we cut to here? Where we are here thanks to our partner, which is Surfshark VPN. We're actually on the border with Germany, also anywhere from the border with Germany. The differences between US and Czech Republic. Now let's talk about service in restaurants and pubs, because that may be a bit of a shock for you when you come to Prague. Yes, quite often it is rude and not polite at all. That's also a huge difference for us when we go to US and a waitress will come to our
What? She kissed the bill?
table and she will
Never
introduce
seen that
herself and
before.
she will smile and
Never
she will
seen
maybe
that.
recommend something from the menu. That would never happen here. I mean, it's changing, don't get me wrong. Service is getting better, but if you go to like a local place, a dive bar, which I would consider this place to be, quite often they'd be grumpy and it takes a long time for them to get to know you, and after maybe a 20th visit, they will share a little smile with you. Not like in US. First time
Jeez.
visitor, oh, I love coming you to our restaurant. My name is Wendy. Can I take your order? Hey, Wendy. Speaking of Wendy, when I was first called darling or honey in a restaurant in US, I was like, she really loves me. She just called me darling.
Will you marry me?
I like that. I mean, I like the bartender here, but he never calls me darling.
It's for the tip. It's for the tip.
Let's make it stay that way, okay? We're tough guys. Even though the two of us consider the service at places in the United States very good and very nice and very polite, there is one thing that we consider to be very rude. And that is, you're finishing your meal or maybe you're halfway through and suddenly a bill lands on your table. What is that? Are you kicking me out? That would never happen here.
Yeah.
Any business, restaurant, pub,
That would never
coffee
happen
place
in the UK
tries to
either.
keep you in the place as long as possible. You're done with your meal, they'll offer you a dessert. You're done with your dessert, they will offer you coffee. You're done with your coffee, maybe you want to start over and have another appetizer. In other words, they want to keep you in as long as possible. You have to ask for the bill. In US, very often, you're halfway through, here's your bill. I'm like, well, maybe I
What?
want another something. No, the bill is already on the table.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Just weird.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Like, and I've actually heard that before, and I think it's because US restaurants want to quickly turn over the tables so they can serve as many customers as possible. But if I've gone to a restaurant with friends or family, I want to feel completely at ease so I can just, sip my beer or whatever for as long as I want. I don't want the bill, like, I've got the fork in my mouth, like, here's the bill. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't like that.
Speaking of the bill, let's dive into tipping. And
Yep,
that
here we
can
go.
create some big issues
Here
because
we
that's
go.
a big cultural difference. In US, quite often we get asked, do you want to tip 15, 18, 20, 25%? Which for us is like, whoa, that's a lot. A quarter of the bill just tips?
It's crazy
because
to me,
it's a
man.
tip-based country or tip-based business. In Czech, that used to be very, very different. I mean, my dad would only round up the bill to the next higher number. If the bill was 99, he would round it up to 100. I believe most of our dads and mothers still do that. Nowadays, it's changing even here, and tipping goes from 10% higher if you're satisfied with the service. If the service is really bad, some people will simply not tip. If that would happen in the US, that you would not leave a single cent on a tip, I've experienced people running out of the restaurant and be like, what happened? What did we do wrong? Like, why did you not tip? So tipping is very, very different.
Does that really happen? So if you leave no tip in some restaurants, the server or someone from the restaurant will chase you out of the restaurant and ask you why?
And I'm curious what you will say about that in the comments. Whatever country you're from, I want to read what's the average tipping in your country. Now this...
Yeah, I've just a quick thing about tipping. It's not that I've got a problem with tipping. I just don't like the fact that it's considered almost compulsory, that you have to do it. You have to tip. I feel like, a server should do their job regardless of... I know that, people are going to say they make really low hourly wages, but, when I used to be a paralegal, I was expected to do my job properly regardless, and I didn't receive any tips. And I know that the service industry is different, but shouldn't they have to do their job well regardless? Like, it shouldn't be like you're paying extra for that good service. Do I make sense? Or what do you guys think? I know a lot of you are going to say, oh no, we like the tipping culture, and that's fine. I just don't feel like you should have to pay 20% everywhere you go to eat. I feel like it's a bit... I don't know.
Cultural difference is not only huge, but I consider it to be evil, and that is packaging and garbage in general. I'm not talking about if you go to a place where it's a takeout or you go to a fast food. Yes, they put it in a paper bag, either if you're in US or here. But I'm talking about if you go to a restaurant and they create so much garbage, so much waste, even though you're at a restaurant. Quick example. Mostly if you get a drink at a bar in the US, they put a napkin under it, so it soaks the moist that's running under it. Well, that's for one use only. Afterwards, they will throw away the napkin. How about they use coasters? Because you can reuse the coaster. And that's just one very simple example. Another one is if you order a ketchup at this place, they will bring it, either a bottle, some places in the US do that too, or they put it in a ceramic cup that they clean afterwards. Not that they grab 20 ketchups and throw them next to your burger. Or even in McDonald's in Czech Republic, you pay for every single tiny packaging of any sauce, any ketchup. So you think about if you want one or two. In US, yeah, can I get some ketchup? Here you go, here's 1,000,000 ketchups in tiny little bags. No, don't do that. I mean, you guys are going all Michael Bay packaging, like, hey, yeah, that's a plastic bag, let's put it in a paper bag, and let's put more packaging and pack it up. You want it to go? Yeah, let's pack it up more. Whew.
I do think this will change though with time in the US. Every country's trying to become more, environmentally friendly. Every company is probably going to look for ways to save on expenses, and packaging is an expense. So this will change, I'm sure.
Meanwhile, in Europe, yeah, let's get rid of plastic straws. They really destroy the universe.
Wooden straws now.
There's going to be one hell of a discussion under this video. I absolutely love you guys from
straws.
US, and I love going to US, just so you know. We both do. Please don't cancel my ESTA. Now let's drop the beer for a minute, and let's talk about coffee and coffee culture differences between USA and Europe. Triggered already? Well, you'll get triggered more. Yes, in Europe, we do not consider this to be a cup of coffee. That's a gallon of coffee. If it's more than a gallon, it's not coffee. This is a cup of coffee. By the way, shocker, they have like a cup of coffee in this cup. It's served in a ceramic cup. It's this size. You have a plate under it. It makes that little noise when you put it down. You sometimes even get a spoon with it so you can mix.
I mean, if that's not an espresso, if that's like for regular coffee, that is a tiny cup of coffee.
A little espresso. And this is how you drink it.
Yeah,
not a gallon. Doesn't fit in your car so you can drive and sip on your little coffee soup throughout the day. Big difference, big shocker for us when we go to places in US and they simply don't serve something like this. Hold your horses. I know that coffee culture in US is changing depending on which state you live in, if you live in a city and so on, but still mostly people think this is coffee and you cannot get this. It's sad for us Europeans. Can I get a cup of coffee? You want Venti Grande, Grande XL, Grande XXXXL?
Grande XL.
Like the Italians drink it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now this next cultural difference may sound weird, but I believe it should be addressed. And that is restrooms and toilet sizes in restaurants and pubs. And I'm not talking about the actual seat size, but I'm talking about you have a big pub and there's one toilet. There's like one restroom for the entire pub where there's like hundreds of people. And the stalls where you can like sit to do number two are very like see-through. Like there's no privacy. Like there's no door at the bottom. Like if somebody peeks, they can see you. It's kind of strange. And girls talk about that a lot. Both our girls talk about it, how like it's kind of weird that people can't really see you. So that's a.
What is the reason for that? Is it a health and safety regulation? Is it to stop people from spending too long in the toilets, doing things that they shouldn't be doing? I'm guessing that's why.
Big difference. If there's a big pub here, it has many restrooms, many toilets, and it can, do the business people need and accommodate many people at the same time. And of course, the ones we mentioned are not the only cultural differences between our continents. There's many more. We can talk about different units, we can talk about different forms of transportation, how we move around cities and countries, how big are our cars and your cars, and many more topics. So let us know in the comments if you want us to cover more topics. And while you're there, please don't be mad at us. This was not made to insult you, only to give you perspectives on our culture habits and your cultural habits that we experience when we go over to your lovely continent that we love to visit, but sometimes we're just like, that's weird. We're the honest dudes from Prague. That dude's name is Honza. My name is Janek. We go by The Honest Guide, our channel full of content.
Cool. Super interesting video. I will say, based on what was covered in the video, I like the fact that you can customize your food in the US. I like that. I like the fact that, there's in US pubs, there's a wide selection of draft beers and things like that, because it's really similar to what's here in London. I would be shocked to go to a pub anywhere in the UK and find only one beer on tap, which, that's just crazy, because what if you don't like that beer? If you don't like it, what do you do? Like you're pretty much done. But I will say, regarding things like the tipping, I don't mind tipping. I'll tip 20% if the service is just completely like out of this world, then I'll do that. But I just don't know if it should be everywhere. Like every time you eat out, every time you sit down at a table to eat, like if I've gone to IHOP, for example, and they've, I ordered some pancakes, they brought my pancakes. Why should I have to tip 20% on that? It seems, as someone who, like, I'm sure for you guys in the US, it's completely normal. It's completely ingrained into you. So the idea of not doing it is just bizarre. And I'm sure a lot of you probably think, oh, that's so like, it's so tight. Why wouldn't you want to, you know, pay 20%, etc. But, you know, from someone as I'm from a country where it's not required, where the servers are paid a decent hourly wage, and so tipping isn't essential. It's like the idea of having to tip 20%, you know, on everything you eat out, like any time you eat out, it's a bit crazy. I'm sure, you know, with time, if I was to live in the US for an extended period, maybe I'd get used to it. But yeah, just as I am right now, it is a bit crazy. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.